Now, farm work allowance, as just the word say, farm. We are talking about farming, about crops, livestock. So we want to see the capital allowance that you normally claim when it comes to that. So point to note about farm work allowance. Point number 1, that it is granted on farming only. That this one is usually granted when you are doing farming. If you're not doing farming, do not try and claim farm work allowance. So that means if you are mining, don't claim it. And we have seen what you do in mining, you claim mining allowance. If you're doing manufacturing, don't claim farm work allowance because that's not farming. You claim investment deduction. So farm work allowance is only in farming. Point number 2. It is granted at the rate of 50% in the first year, then 25% reducing balance from the second year. That in the first year, you give 50%. Second year, 25%, but on a reducing. Third year, 25% on that way. And no, as long as you're using that item, you continue claiming. That tell you one thing, that farm work allowance is the same as the mining allowance. It's the same as investment deduction. And it is also the same as wear and tear allowance for ships and aircrafts. The only thing that change is the name and the cost that qualify for those capital allowances. But the concept remains the same. So we are saying it is these rates from first year to second year, but on a reduced, on qualifying costs. On qualifying costs. So which costs qualify for farm work allowance? So point number 3, costs qualifying for farm work allowance. These costs are, we start with a farmhouse. Now, what is a farmhouse? Just as the word say, house in the farm. It is a house where the owner of the business normally stay when they visit the farm. And the reason why you have to know what it means is because of this, that only a third of costs qualify unless it is a limited company. That when you are claiming the farm work allowance on farmhouse, give the amount that qualify a third of the cost for farmhouse only, unless it's a company where the whole cost qualify. So if you are a sole proprietor, if you are in partnership, and you are told, for example, the cost of a farmhouse is 90 million. Don't say because we said first year 50%, you take 50% of 90 million. No. If it is a sole proprietorship, if it is a partnership, take a third of the cost, a third of 90 million, that is 30 million. That is the one first year now you take 50%. You get 15 million as the farm work allowance for farmhouse first year. You go to the second year, remember we took a third, that is 30 million, minus the farm work allowance for the first year, 15 million. So you remain with 15, take 25%, and now you continue that way. But if it's a company, just give the whole cost. If it is 90 million, first year take 50% of 90, that is 45. Second year, 25% of 90 minus 45, that's 45, 25%. That way as you move on. That is number 1. Number 2, another cost that qualify for farm work allowance is cow sheds. This is where cows normally stays. We normally have cattle dip, C, cattle dips, D, fish ponds, E, pig stay, F, chicken sheds. G, feeding troughs. H, watch towers. I, any other structure that assists to use the farm. Yeah. So all these costs, they are capital in nature. They qualify for farm work allowance, you know, at the rates that we have talked about. And we are saying they are not the only one. Any other structure necessary to use the farm. For example, you may find irrigation networks. I've not included them here, but they are structures in the farm. Those also qualify. Water system, electricity system, dog kennels. All these are structures in the farm, and they qualify for farm work allowance. So that is number 3 about the farm work allowance. Point you are supposed to note. Number 3 was cost that qualifies. So we have point number 4 that you need to note about the farm work allowance. Number 4, that cost of land and land-related costs do not qualify for farm work allowance. Yeah, just as we said, land does not qualify for any capital allowance, including the farm work allowance.